LOC community, it's me, Clint Culberson, joining you from the Redwoods of northwestern California. It is one of the most epic places I have ever been. I think it is really one of the most amazing places in the entire world. It's the land of the giants. As you can see here, these are the largest trees in the world, and there is so much wisdom in them. Just being right next to them, you can see right here. Unbelievable. Absolutely stunning. It's an ecosystem that is not very common, but it's an ecosystem where everything seems to just go right. And I suppose all of nature goes that way. But I've been out here. I wanted to share with you this little quote that's on this bench that I'm on right now, and hopefully you can see this. But it says, "The winds will blow their own freshness into you, while cares will drop off like autumn leaves." And that's a quote by John Muir, who's really one of the first, I suppose, Western. Naturalists to really give light into this area of the world, and to really be a big part in preserving it. When you think of these forests, they're so incredible. I mean, the camera does not do it justice. It's really a cheap imitation, to be honest with you. Even as brilliant as probably this video is turning out, and you probably look at some of these trees through here and say, wow, they're pretty awesome. But to be here in person, to feel all the senses, the air here is like the most clear, pristine air that I've ever inhaled. And when you think about the fact that 80% of the original redwood forests have been logged over the last 100 and so years, it really breaks my heart, to be honest with you. But I also understand that this story has happened all over the world, and if we don't stop it, it's going to be to our own peril. And I was talking to someone who was from around here recently, and she told us that the forests that were logged can no longer have redwoods again, because once they cut those forests down, the moisture that's required for the redwoods to grow back can't grow back, or it can't come back. And so most of that moisture leaves, and then now the redwoods can't grow there anymore. So the forests that we have left are really, truly, national, world, global, planetary treasures. I wanted to kind of talk about this quote by John Muir, though, that talks about the wind blowing on you, and your cares will drop off like autumn leaves. My own self journey has been hugely benefited by my reconnection to nature. And as John Muir says in that quote, nature has a way of literally reminding you that, like, money doesn't exist out here, and it has a way of just absorbing the stresses that we hold inside of you. The earth really does have a very sentient power in it, and it has the power to absorb everything that you are carrying and holding on to. And I can say that, man, back in my 20s, if someone asked me to go camping, I'd oftentimes turn them down, and because I'd rather stay into my modern conveniences, and stay plugged into the human grid, if you will, the electronic world, whatever you want to call it. And my return to nature, which has only really been over the last 5-6 years, has really reaped humongous benefits for my life. It has reminded me where I come from. I often say to people that I can prove to you that God exists, and I think as long as the definition of God is that which giveth life, well, if that is the case under that pretense, then really you can prove that God exists, and this planet is that. This planet gives us life. It literally does, and same with the sun. You know, we have two evidences, tangible evidences, scientific evidences of something that gives us life. So on a minimal level, we must accept that truth, that this planet gives us life, and then that there is a divinity in just that which giveth life. Okay, well, on a minimal level, I feel the divinity, and I'm humbled by the fact that I come from this planet, and without it, I don't have life. And for me, for me to act in a way that our greater species is act, in terms of being a parasite to this planet, you know, it's we've taken from it more than we've taken more than we give back, and that is a recipe for disaster. And we've done it for too long, and now it's time to stop. And you feel that message right here in the trees. And I used to not have the ears to hear the trees, you know, my attention deficit disorder, or whatever you want to call it. I wasn't even able to pay attention long enough to really hear the wisdom that the plants have, and they do. I mean, look, they have wisdom. They have wisdom. If only we have the eyes, the eyes and the ears and the sixth sense enough to hear them. And maybe they don't necessarily speak to us in the English language or whatever language we speak, but there's another language that they can speak to us through, that if we're patient enough, because everything in this world moves much slower than our world. Just like our world moves much slower than a housefly. And it's the same concept. I mean, some of these trees, look at this tree right here. Look how huge it is. This tree could very well be over 1,000 years old. 1,000 years old, potentially. It might even be older. So things move much slower. But if we give the time to hear what the plants have to tell us, we will get this message. We will get this message. We will be reminded of, where we come from. And this is our family. And when we finally recognize that, we'll stop tearing all the trees down for money, for our own personal gain. We'll only do actions that benefit the whole. And I think really that as a collective species, as our collective consciousness, we are moving in that direction. And granted, some are moving in the opposite direction. But I suppose nature has a way of dealing with that also. But I think we're living in very interesting times. And I think that the connection to nature again, the connection to our mother, which is Mother Earth, and our connection to the sun again, you can see it over there, up through those trees, is vital to bringing us back again to unity consciousness. And I just wanted you guys to be a part of this moment, because it's really special out here. And it's I hope if you ever get a chance, put this on your bucket list to come to the Redwoods of the Pacific Coast, and come spend time here. And until you can get there, there are so many beautiful ecosystems everywhere on this planet, everywhere. Who is ever listening to this video, wherever you live, there is nature around you that's waiting to be experienced and waiting to be connected to again. And I promise you, whatever stresses you have, whatever pain you're holding on to, the nature can be a huge benefit to you in terms of releasing it. There's no money system out here. There's no bills to be paid here. The trees don't have to pay rent to live here. Unlike our species, which has gone literally insane in the membrane. And when you can feel that energy out here, you can feel there's no expectations to be a certain way. There's just being here. And I promise you that that has brought more benefit to my life than almost any other tool I've used in my own process of self-awareness, and I want to share that with you. Thank you for being a part of this community with us. We are at Lords of Consciousness. We are really trying to just share the truths that each of the content creators have experienced in their own life, and through the people out there in our communities who are also experiencing great truths in their lives, and they're connecting into something much deeper than themselves. And these are the connections, and these are the solutions that people are creating that will bring us into a different age altogether. We can stop doing the same systems that have literally brought us to the brink of destruction, and brought these forests to the brink of destruction. And thank goodness for those who are still, the humans who've kept light in their hearts, who saved these forests from the endless greed, I suppose, that exists within us, that exists within some people, some peoples of our species. And so, thank you to people like John Muir for preserving these most sacred lands. Thank you. Subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and keep up to date with some of the content that we have coming out, and I think you'll really appreciate it. And thank you.